Hello, everyone. This is the 4099 podcast, and this is our new MMA show.
4099 MMA show. Let's get it done.
This is kind of a new thing that me and my friend Netzer, I'm Dima.
I'm Netzer.
This is Netzer, a good friend. We've been friends for a while.
It's been a minute, bro.
It's been a while.
It's been a long minute.
Long minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just decided because we're both super passionate about MMA, because there's been so many good fights and so many more upcoming fights.
Yeah, dude.
We wanted to get this thing popping off. So, to introduce you guys, this should be a really, really fun series. This should be a really, really fun show. We got a lot to talk about.
It's gonna be high on adrenaline, high on fights, bro. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nuts. I love this shit.
Well, I mean, to kind of get this whole thing started, since this is the first episode, let's give our viewers and our listeners kind of some background. Like, Netzer, who are you? I mean, why did you get into MMA? Like, why did you have an interest in it? Who's your favorite fighter? Let's talk about that.
Dude, honestly, it all started with boxing for me. So, like, don't get me wrong, I love the UFC, I love the MMA. But I used to be, and I still am, a huge boxing fan. It's just that with coronavirus, like, boxing hasn't been happening. It just like resurged like about a month ago or something like that. But there haven't been, I mean, there's been good cards, but just not something huge. But what really started for me was like Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao. That's what got me into the fight game. So like I remember me and a friend, we're trying to watch that fight. I don't think we ended up watching it, but I watched a playback and we're just like, this is fucking crazy. So I remember we went to Gold's Gym, we started sparring and shit, shooting the shits. It was wild. It was actually, what we did is we sort of, Fight Club. Mm-hmm. We pretty much made like a Fight Club like back in like high school. So what we did is we went to like this like pool, like late at night, like at like 9. And it was just me and like my friends. And we were just doing a couple like sparring. I remember we went. So like after the Pacquiao fight, we're like, dude, this is dope as fuck. So we went and we bought some gloves. We definitely had to buy headgear, mouth guards. And we're like, yo, let's try this shit out. And I had background like Krav Maga, and like there's
that's like Israeli style.
Yeah,
fighting.
some Israeli like it'll kill you fucking martial art. Like that's like no holds barred, hit you in the nuts, just crazy shit. So that's where I got started. And then we started like a fight club. So it was just me and my friends. We're sort of just not knocking each other out, but knocking our headgears off, and having a really good time. And over time, like more people started coming. So it's just like it was me and my friend, and we were still fighting a little bit. But more people sort of started coming. They're like, yo, let's spar too. So we were pretty much fucking up
bunch
other
of kids just sparring, having a good time.
Sparring, just some ghetto ratchet shit. just like knocking each other's headgears off. There's this one time, this guy, it was the first time I saw like an actual like pretty bad nosebleed. Actually, the first time I saw somebody get their like nose broken, and I was like, "Fuck, that's wild."
What a beautiful sight, right?
dude. So he was wearing my headgear, so I was like, really, just like, and like blood started pouring down his nose, and I was like, take my fucking headgear off. I don't want you ruining even though my head, like, I knew that like there was going to be a bit of blood, so I made sure that my headgear was red just so like we would be good.
Right.
But also like it's leather. I don't want to go and wash it. So I wasn't even worried about the
Staph
guy.
infection.
Dude, I wasn't even worried about the guy. I was just like, get my headgear off your fucking face right now. You're going to get my shit dirty. I don't want to wear your blood, bro. So,
no care about the guy.
Nah, not even. I mean, like, I cared. I was like, we'll make sure you're good after you get my headgear off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my guy threw like a wild like haymaker and just hit the guy right at the edge of his nose, and
that was that.
That was that. And he was like, I'm done. I'll watch y'all. And I'm like, okay, you got it. Just take my headgear off, and we'll be good. But yeah, that's when it all started. So I was a huge boxing fan because I mean, like, just something about stand-up that's just like beautiful. So I was huge on boxing. My favorite fighter is Vasily Lomachenko, Ukrainian,
of course,
Matrix fighter, just crazy good.
Matrix fighter, I like that.
And I always knew that UFC was just like in the background. I love fighters, so like I love fighting. So I still watch the UFC. Boxing was my big thing, and I knew everybody in the UFC, but like after like coronavirus hit, UFC became my favorite because that's what was on. And we've been having some crazy cards just about every single weekend. And Yeah, it was crazy. What about you? How do you get into it, man?
Oh man, so my dad was a boxer. He boxed for our home country,
Yeah.
Moldova, and he was a champion of the country. And him telling me those stories about him kind of being in the ring, and how much he loved it, and how much his coach said he has a potential, but ultimately he kind of dropped it just because he was thinking long term.
Yeah.
And that's something that is also another conversation, maybe for another time, is like how much of an impact it has on the athlete,
Yeah.
head wise, concussions and
Yeah.
CTE and all these other huge topics that people are discussing. But I mean, ultimately, I fell in love with it just because of that, just because of my father, just because of his history with it. And I've never personally, like officially, you know what I mean, gone in a gym and trained, but let's just say I have gotten into my fair share of scraps here and there.
Yeah.
Mainly in middle school when I was going to public school, I was just like, it was a way of life, you know what I mean? People were doing it to say either like, just to screw it, like let's fight, or if I had a problem with you, I would scrap it out like men, just do the do.
I feel that.
And that was that. So that's where my kind of love for it kind of came from. And then I kind of dropped it. I kind of left it out. Wasn't really looking at anything, mainly got into soccer and cross country, that kind of thing. And then I recently, within the year, fell in love with it again, but, mainly like the UFC thing, you know what I mean? Especially with this virus going on.
The only sport pretty much going
yeah,
on.
dude. I mean, there's so much to talk about, right?
Oh, yeah.
Favorite fighter? God.
That's in the UFC. That's hard.
That's a
hard choice.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of chose a legendary fighter. I'll choose more of like a fighter that everyone at this point knows. Khabib, man. Khabib is a
just legendary.
I think one of the best to ever do it.
Dude, you can say he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
You can definitely say he's the GOAT. Like he's 28-0. Amazing fucking fighter. Everybody they put in the ring with him, he mauls like a bear. Just so amazing. I like hands down. He's definitely top 5. My favorite fighter. Could be in the Mount Rushmore.
He's special, man.
Dude, he's definitely special.
Once in a generation,
And I don't see him losing. Like anybody that they put up against him, like he's always the betting favorite. I just don't see him losing. Even like with people who have really high level jiu-jitsu, if he can get you, I mean, there's like you can put like we can talk about Ferguson. Like he's got amazing jiu-jitsu and he's training out of
the cursed fight, right?
Yeah, the cursed fucking what happened. It's been happening 5 times, canceled 5 times, cursed fight. But you can put him against anybody, and I always see him just the way that he wrestles. Like he's got amazing wrestling, but if you put him in the Olympics, I don't know if he would still do good. I don't know if he would do amazing, but he's got the best wrestling for the UFC that I've seen out of any fighter. Like you can put in like GSP and a bunch of other amazing wrestlers, but Khabib hands down has like just
once he gets a hold of you,
you can't
it's
go anywhere, bro. Man. You can't go
He's
anywhere.
He's holding on. It's like a pit bull, once it leeches on.
Pretty much. Like the only person I can compare him to right now is, I mean, like there's Cormier. Cormier's an amazing wrestler. Henry Cejudo, amazing wrestlers. They're all Olympic wrestlers. But what the difference between Olympic level wrestling and the level wrestling that Khabib uses in the UFC is just completely different. I mean, Curtis Blades, like he just had a recent fight against, I forgot who it was. And he pretty much, he was like, he seemed Volkov. Like he was, Volkov. They were comparing him. I remember, I think John Anik was like announcing or something. And he was like, dude, this is like the Khabib of the heavyweight division. And he was doing really good. He
gassed out in the end, right?
The 5th round, he was getting pieced up by Volkov.
Yeah. Dana had a couple things to say.
He was getting pieced up. He thought it was boring.
Dana White.
A lot of people had a lot of things to say about that fight, but I think I really enjoyed it. I mean, like I knew exactly what he was going to do. I remember Blades like posted tweeted, and he was like, "Y'all think that this is going to be stand up? Fuck no, I'm going to be ragdolling this boy." And he did it for a good like 3 rounds, a good amount. 4th round,
yeah, 4th, 5th. Volkov started hitting him a lot.
He was stuffing some takedowns But I think that was the most takedowns in the UFC. That Volkov,
Yep.
I mean that Blades did on Volkov. But it was. I think it was a good fight. It seemed boring because there was a lot of ground game, but I think it was still good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good.
So let's start hitting some main topics here that some juicy topics that everyone in the MMA world is kind of talking about now.
Yeah.
Like we have obviously UFC 251 coming up. We have on the card. Let's just read the main card for you guys, just so everyone knows. It's
Bro, hold on.
Kamaru. Oh yeah, go ahead.
When that card was announced, bro, I just that's orgasmic, bro. Just like I saw that shit and I was like, oh, holy fuck.
You couldn't hold a nut,
dude. Pretty much, dog. It was crazy. But yeah, you go ahead.
So yeah, dude, you have Kamaru Usman, currently the champion of the welterweight division.
Yes, sir.
Going up against Gilbert Burns, Brazilian. Amazing, good. He's I think he has a win streak, right?
Yeah, he's got like I think a 5-fight win streak, something like that.
Yeah, he's 19-3. So I mean, he has a little bit of a kind of a little bit more history officially. Because Kamaru Usman, he's 16-1. He's 17 fights. You got Gilbert 22. So
it's really crazy though. What? A lot of people don't know this. Gilbert Burns was knocked out by Dan Hooker.
Wow.
And the what's the division? Lightweight. I think lightweight. Yeah, he was like knocked out by Dan Hooker in lightweight division, which is, and I might be wrong about the weights or whatever, but he could have stayed in that division. Like he was perfectly fine. He just decided to move up, and now he doesn't have to worry about cutting weight. He can just like worry about his game and techniques. Like I remember he did a jiu-jitsu tournament, like I feel like a week before a fight, and he still went and knocked out whoever the fuck he was fighting.
Yeah, he's a solid fighter.
He's a stud.
And then, of course, this is something I'm really looking forward to. We have number 2 featherweight championship round, championship match. Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. What? I mean, fight. Geez,
the first fight was already good. Yeah, I mean, the first fight was really great. Like Volkanovski had just an amazing game. Like this guy was so just some background about Volkanovski. If you don't know, this guy weighed 240 pounds, like a thick dude, right? Around either 214, 240. It's sort of debated, but Rogan says that he weighed 240, so we're gonna believe him, right? And he was weighing 240. He was a rugby player. My guy's thick. Like his legs could fucking crush a watermelon any day. Tree trunk watermelons. Like this guy's stiff. Like it's like exactly. And Max Holloway, his stand-up is something special. Like, I feel like he's got one of the best switch stances of just about anybody in the UFC.
I think the name of the game is power versus agility and cardio, yeah.
Yeah, but Volkanovski has a tank. I mean, imagine this, like a 200, he's got the lungs of a 240-pound rugby player.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it's crazy that he can go down to 140. Like...
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, he is, they're both pretty, I mean, he is short and stocky, you know what I mean? Max is a little bit more,
lengthy.
He got some thin, he can move around, but that's what makes him such a versatile kind of stand-up game, have a versatile stand-up game. So, so that will be amazing. And then we have the bantamweight title bout. After the relinquished kind of title, it's Henry Cejudo kind of relinquished.
Which is one of the biggest surprises in all of the UFC.
That was insane. Peter Yan.
Piotr.
Yeah, you got to really pronounce it.
Yan. Yeah.
Versus Jose Aldo, man. Wow.
So, yeah, Yan is fantastic. I think he's been
boxing, up and coming,
boxing since the age of 5. Had just I think over 300 boxing matches. Yep. He's very new in the UFC. I think he's only had. I might be wrong about this.
He's 14-1.
I think he's only had around 5 fights in the UFC. Around 5 fights in the UFC.
He's new. He's
very new. But he's so good. Just It's like fighting like a psychopath, like an assassin or something. Like
a Russian assassin.
A Russian assassin.
That's very important to mention.
That's exactly. There's something about fighting somebody that's unemotional. Like, it's like the little dog, big dog effect. Like a big dog knows that he's straight. Little dogs yap and yap and yap. Piotr Yan, he doesn't shit talk. I mean, a little bit with Sean O'Malley over Twitter, but usually he's not really a shit talker. He's really just straight up in your face. What's up? Mm-hmm. Right? Like what you got. That's like exactly what he did with Uriah Faber. Like he was like, and Uriah, like we've got to mention, Uriah Faber is legendary. He's old, but he's this California boy, just legendary fighter, amazing. And he dominated that fight, like completely owned him. He controlled it, and then and he was the thing about that fight is that he was like he was doing this thing where he was taunting him. He was like, "What's up? That's all you got?" He was like, "Are you serious? Like you were like a champ before. That's really it." So it feels like he just hasn't met a challenge yet in bantamweight, which is
where Jose Aldo comes in.
The
legend. Put some respect on my man's name,
Big
Jose
respect.
Aldo. You know what I
Big
mean?
respect.
Legend. I think you could pretty much call him as historic and legendary as Faber. You know what I mean? They both have had a history in the UFC. A lot of people forget Aldo's past, you know, and the fact that he held a belt at one time.
You could say that he before Max Holloway, he was the GOAT of the featherweight division. Then he got knocked the fuck out by Conor McGregor in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And everybody forgot, right? Like just suddenly forgot that he was crazy good. He was amazing. He had like, I don't remember how long, but he had just this huge win streak where he was just dominating the featherweight division. And he was kicking ass. And when also, what actually got me into the UFC was Conor McGregor knocking out Jose Aldo, which like that's what really like solidified like, whoa, UFC is crazy. Like, I mean, I heard of like John Bones Jones before when he was doing his thing, and I heard about all that stuff, and I was like, that's dope. But what really got me into the UFC was that knockout was like 20 seconds. That shit went viral. That was like the Conor McGregor Ronda Rousey era,
and that was in Brazil.
Yeah.
That was in front of a crowd that already wanted to have that man's head.
In Brazil, we got to talk about fighting environments because that's kind of crazy. Like Brazil's like insane. It's had so many amazing fighters going from like Jose Aldo to Gilbert Burns is Brazilian. We've got actually a good amount of Brazilians on this card. I feel like Jessica Andrade, she's Brazilian.
Yep.
Jose Aldo, Brazilian. Gilbert Burns, Brazilian. I mean, like 3/5 of this card is Brazilian. That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have other really, really exciting fights, you know, for the women at strawweight, you know, and
Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas. She's a bad girl, Rose. Thug Rose. That's what fucking Cormier says. Bro, honestly, we were talking about like favorite fighters a little bit ago. Rose is up there.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Rose is like 4th place, like one of my favorite fighters. She's just thugging, bro.
Yo, a lot of people sleep on the women in the sport, you know, and they have. I mean, even that fight. Who was the Polish the fight of the night? If not like the fight of history. The
dude, that fight of the year. This is bad that I'm forgetting names. But yeah, Thug Rose. She's crazy good. I mean, the thing about Thug Rose is that like she's a very complete fighter. Like she's got amazing stand up. She's got great power. Her boxing is really good. Like she does a bunch of feints and a bunch of really special things that to set up her punches. And her ground game is phenomenal too. Like she's just like right now there's like a switch. I mean, before like there were amazing UFC fighters, but now there's this next level generation with like amazing feints, just amazing, just all around game. And Rose is one of those fighters. Like, there's this karate chick in the UFC. She's like the hot karate chick. I forgot her name right now. But she's got amazing karate. She's got amazing stand up, but she's known for the karate. Rose is known for anything. There's not one thing that like Rose is amazing at. Don't get me wrong, she's got amazing stand up, but she's just a complete fighter, and that's just what makes her phenomenal.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know, we have just the whole card, man. This Saturday, excuse me. Next Saturday,
yeah,
July 11th, Fight Island.
It mixed me up a little bit too, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Which is crazy. Like every Saturday, there's been a UFC. There's been some pay-per-view or some fight going on. So like, I was confused. I was like, hold on. Is there a fight this Saturday? Like I swear to, like it was just yesterday that I was like, oh fuck, there's no fight like tomorrow or something. So yeah, I was like, shit. I was really looking forward to this, but it's okay. Just a little bit more tension, a little bit more things looking up.
Well, I mean, let's talk about, to kind of make it a full circle here for the first episode. Let's talk about that. What everyone right now is talking about that Poirier Dan Hooker fight.
man.
I mean, what in the world was that?
Could be fight of the night.
Could be fight. 100% fight of the night. Fight of the year is what you mean. That, I mean,
100%.
What a war.
Dude, round 2 or round 3 of Dan Hooker, Poirier could be best round in UFC history. Yeah. Hands down, just back and forth, just fucking slugging it out. So good. So good. And Dan Hooker is also, we're talking about next generation fighters, like that gym in New Zealand, like they're putting out some monsters. Adesanya, Hooker, Volkanovski, a bunch of other fighters. They are some monsters. Like they're just good. But the thing that they do so well is that they know the game of MMA. They know the game of the UFC, right? So they're calculated. Like Adesanya, Hooker, Volkanovski, I feel like I don't know if this is a fact, but they definitely have to come together and like analyze the game and analyze who they want to fight next. Because Dan Hooker, he's just been on a level up like basis. And Adesanya, I think he was in the UFC for he had like 3 fights in 1 year or 4 fights in 1 year where he knocked out like 3 people in like one stadium. I remember he first there was Anderson Silva. That's what really, of course. Like that's what blew him up, like bigger than he already was. He was already hyped up, like amazing kickboxer, just phenomenal, like championship level, amazing fighter. Anderson Silva. Then he knocked out Gastelum.
Yep.
Then he fought.
Romero.
No. Before that, that's when he became champion. Hold on. He fought. I mean, he. That's Romero's fight is a little controversial. No, but yeah, he's Adesanya. Adesanya is up there. I feel like right now Adesanya is my favorite fighter. But yeah, just amazing. That gym, the way they put together, they're just the fighting content is just fantastic. And what's really amazing is his takedown defense. So Adesanya is an amazing fighter, and what he really relies on is his stand up. Yeah, so he was Robert Whittaker that he knocked out. I can't believe that I forgot that. Robert Whittaker.
We got a lot of exciting fights. So there's a lot of names on the table here.
There's so many names. Robert Whittaker. Like let's just give some background on him. Like y'all should know Robert Whittaker. He's amazing. He beat Romero twice. He was championship. Like he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy, Australian bred bad man, right? And I remember I was really tense leading up to the fight because I remember the Adesanya versus Gastelum fight. Also amazing fight, phenomenal. But he was Gastelum had Adesanya in trouble a lot. Like there was a lot of times that Adesanya was in trouble, and that's because they were really throwing punches, and he was really just going to war. But yeah, Gastelum was piecing him up, and of course that 5th round, Adesanya, he said he was like, "I'm ready to die," and that's what really makes up a fighter. Just that mentality of I'm ready to die. I'm ready to put all of it in the ring, everything that I have in the ring. And that's what's legendary about Adesanya. I think that he's going to go down in history. He's got this one pose where he's like a karate fighter. He's like this. He's like this. Like with Gastelum, he's like, come on, bring it on, bro. And I'm like, that's
Naruto,
wild.
Man.
It was really
that's his thing,
back to Naruto. And what's also really cool is that he's kind of a nerd.
Yep.
But amazing fighter.
Yeah.
So he's also promoting that anime game and that the
that's
Japanese
what makes him.
style.
That's what I think makes him such a cool kind of personality outside of the ring is the fact that he knows how to connect to the younger people that are watching the sport. He makes it interesting. He talks his shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows his shit. At the same time, I think that's what makes him such a well-rounded guy outside of the ring. Is not only does he talk his shit, but he knows his shit,
and he backs up his shit.
Yep.
He's like the Rock Lee in the UFC right now. That's where that pose came from. Rock Lee versus Gara. If y'all know Naruto or if y'all know anime, you know that fight. And fucking Rock Lee pretty much leveled up. He had some boost, some crazy boost, and he was just in the zone. And that's what Adesanya did. That's how honestly. So let's get back to Whitaker. Whitaker is a phenomenal fighter. Like Romero is like the bad boy. He's like the boogeyman of that division. And
he's such a huge guy.
He's big.
He's huge.
Thick. Like we were talking about like tree trunks. He's a big guy. And Adesanya's slimmer. Like he's tall, but he's slimmer. So I was like,
but his fight IQ is, I mean, out of this world.
Just on the stand. I mean, every fight starts standing up.
Yeah.
And Adesanya was he's always ready. And going back, like his takedown defense is phenomenal. So he can keep the fight standing up. That's his zone. And he was amazing. I remember the second round versus Whitaker. He pretty much had him out on his feet, but the bell saved him. Yeah. And then the third round, he just knocked him the fuck out. Yeah. Lights out. Like Whitaker. So Whitaker was going with the Gastelum game plan.
I keep on seeing that replay in my mind.
Dude, I can't get it out of my head. It's never gonna go until I get Alzheimer's one day. That shit's. But honestly, fucking fingers crossed. I never want to forget that shit. Even when I have Alzheimer's, I'm gonna put fucking photos or videos all over my fucking house with all these phenomenal fights. Poirier versus Hooker, fucking Adesanya, Gastelum, Whitaker, all these fights, just because like they're just phenomenal, next level shit. And once again, Whitaker is so damn good, so good that before that fight, I was like, I don't know if Adesanya's going to win this one because Gastelum pieced him up. Yeah. He did a good amount of damage. So Whitaker's game plan was pretty much Gastelum's game plan. Let's just put pressure on him. Let's make sure that he can't use his distance, can't use all the feints that he does, can't trick him up, and let's have a war. And I feel like Whitaker probably has more power than Adesanya. What Adesanya has is accuracy, and just phenomenal fight IQ. He definitely has more than that, but that's what really sticks out to me about Adesanya, and he showed it. He showed it with that Whitaker fight. And knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, this all, just to make a full circle here, this all started with Dan Hooker, man. Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier. If you guys haven't checked that fight out, please check it out because that thing was insane. Also, another thing I want to talk about is that Mike Perry, Mickey Gall fight. That was something. I mean, Mike is one of those fighters that, again, up and coming, has history. I mean, he's been in the game 14 and 6. He's been in the game, so it's not any kind of green thing, but he's such a cool kind of like, the thug, like the
Diaz,
gangster,
he's got like a little of that Diaz personality, you know what I mean? He's a thug. Like and like,
everybody was talking shit because the girlfriend in the corner, and but he proved them wrong. He proved the haters wrong, and now he should get paid more, honestly.
I mean, that's a whole controversy by itself. But yeah, Mike Perry, dude, he was pretty much a walking meme in the industry, right? Like he was like, fuck all these trainers. I don't owe y'all shit. All y'all fans talking shit. I'm not going to take pictures with any of y'all. Y'all are crazy. And then he goes in, what we were expecting out of Mike Perry is amazing stand-up. And what we were expecting out of Mickey Gall was he had pretty good, if he was going to win that fight, it was going to be through his takedowns and through his jiu-jitsu. But what we were surprised about with Mike Perry is that he dominated wherever he went. Yep. He dominated. He actually
on the ground.
He dominated on the ground. He actually he stuffed pretty much all of Mickey Gall's takedowns, and he was successful with his own takedowns, and he was successful on the ground. He had amazing ground and pound on the stand-up. Mickey Gall actually had some pretty good moments. The first and like second round was stand-up.
He got a couple chances for sure.
He had good moments, but Mike Perry was dominating wherever, and he deserved that. He deserved that dub, and he got it. And it's crazy the way that it worked out with this girl in his corner. She was it seemed like she knew, like, they probably trained a little bit, and she probably learned a little bit about what to do. She put ice on his head, but he pretty much ordered her. He was like, all right, put ice on my head, get my water. He was ordering around. He was calling the shots.
And but as a fighter should, it's their fight. And,
it's their fight. And no hate, dude. No hate. Mike Perry did his thing. Every fighter.
Hey, Mike Perry.
Diaz.
And
I say no. What's up?
I'm waiting for him to fight. The guy from England, what's his name?
Darren Till?
Darren Till, man.
They've been talking a lot of shit, bro. They've had a lot of memes fucking all over, bro. Oh, my
God. And, Till is such a troll, you know what I mean? He knows how to get under people's skin,
He's a funny guy, Darren Till. I've been following his Instagram. He's been making a bunch of jokes, but I feel like there's nothing but respect with Darren Till. He just likes to fight. But what's interesting is that, and no hate on Mike Perry, Darren Till right now, he's fighting Whitaker. Yep. So if he beats Whitaker, he can get he can get a championship fight.
Yep.
But if he fights Mike Perry, that's also a little bit of a downgrade. No hate, I still want to see the fight.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Mike Perry's a bad fighter. It's just Darren Till's at a point in his career where he can get a chance at the title.
He has a long reach. He has a long reach.
But Adesanya still got to fight Paulo Costa, and that's gonna be a bad fight.
What a fight!
Be a bad.
That's
fight.
something we'll save for next episode.
Yes, sir.
But to finish this, first episode out, again, make sure you guys check out next Saturday, July 11th. UFC 251 on Fight Island, Abu Dhabi, I believe it is, right? And yeah, I mean, like we said, there's just a stacked card. And there's a lot of free fights on YouTube. So guys, if you aren't familiar with UFC, make sure to check out. There's a lot of content on YouTube. And while you guys are checking that out, make sure to check us out at the 4099 podcast, MMA show. This is new. Thank you guys so much for coming in, for rocking with us, for checking us out. This is going to be something that we do every week from now on because there is a lot of heat in the cards.
There's a lot of things to talk about.
A lot of heat.
There's a lot.
We'll have to maybe separate things out just for topics and stuff like that outside of fight cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and make sure, guys, please like, subscribe, throw some comments underneath the video. We would love to answer any questions or even start a discussion on the bottom of there, talk some shit, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's Young Jacek. That's who Rose Namajunas knocked the fuck out.
Oh, that's right.
She was Young Jacek. But yeah, I mean, like, listen, this is new, but it's gonna be good stuff. There's so much good content. There's something about fighting that's just it's primal, right? And what's also amazing is that you'd expect that these people in the ring are just not, it's like a gladiator sort of format, but it's not. What it really is it really is art. And what's amazing is the amount of respect that you have for somebody that you fight, right? Like everybody, like just about every fighter goes and like hugs the person if it's win or lose, just massive respect. They become friends afterwards. And it's nothing but respect. There's something about shedding blood, sweat, and tears and like months of training.
Earning that respect.
All to culminate at one event. And that one thing with a bunch of fans, or now with coronavirus, a bunch of people watching outside of the stadium, all there for you guys. And that there's just so much. It's a spiritual thing. Once you get into that octagon, and once you just throw down, and afterwards, win or lose, just so much respect. So much respect. Fighting's a beautiful thing. It's primal. It's just about the first sport that any human has ever done.
Conflict.
Really though,
conflict management.
It really is. And it's a beautiful thing. Once again, it's primal. And we're gonna keep on talking about these amazing primal moments of it's a human experience. And it's beautiful. So yeah, it's a good thing.
Thank you guys so much. Once again, like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll be back on the next one.
Saturday, July 11th. Fight card starts at 6. Tune in. Thank you.
Thanks.